All right, welcome back everyone. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the vMotion. Now, vMotion is required in order to migrate your virtual machines from one host to the another host. For example, if I want to migrate a machine from EXI1 to EXI4, using the vMotion, I can migrate from one host to the other host and from one data center to the other data center. Now, things to keep in mind while migrating. So, for example, in the ESXi1, the host is MKT1, and for example, that is been connected to VM network adapter, that is the switch and the port group, and that adapter has an internet connectivity. So, my requirement is that I want to move it to the ESXi4, okay? And over there, I have to make sure that there is an adapter, whatever might be the adapter should have an internet connectivity, because if that PC comes migrated to this one, it should able to communicate with the internet, and whatever the services it is providing, it should be able to provide. So you have to keep in mind what is the networking requirement for that particular VM. Since we are doing the lab, we don't have any requirement and it doesn't matter anything for us. So that's why it is pretty easy for. So if I go back to my vCenter server now, if I right click on to the MikroTik router 1, click on migrate, and it gives me the different options. So one is like only compute resource, or you want me the storage also to transfer it to the other host. So we definitely want to entirely move the machine from one place to the other place. So I will select change both compute resource and storage. Now, again, if you want to cross over the vCenter server, that means the vCenter server which is on a different domain, different place, not connected to your, not participating in your vCenter cluster, then that's where you will select this option. But currently, my requirement is just to move from ESXi1 to ESXi4. So if I click on next, I will select the data center 2, and you see that select a host. So I will expand that one, select this one. Now there are some compatibilities issues that you need to attend. So if I click on show details, you see that it says that vMotion interface is not configured. So we do have something called as a management interface, as you know, and that management interface is known as a VM kernel interface. Now for the vMotion, you do, as you, if you remember that for the all ESXi, I do have two links for the management. All right. So currently one is in the use, since I don't have that much of requirement or the bandwidth where my machines are too heavy to be moved, so that I have to create a new IP address, new VM kernel adapter with IP address, and I have to enable the vMotion on that one. So my lab is very much pretty small, so I do not require to create a new one. So in case if you are interested in creating a new one, so you just go to the host, go to the configure, go to the VM kernel adapter, and this is where you will add your networking. Click on VM network adapter, click on next. Select an existing network or select an existing standard switch. Select that one, select the switch, click on next. And now what options you want to enable, you can enable over there. And after that, it will ask you for the IPv4 address. That means you have to give one more IP4 address on the same subnet. So we have to go to this whole hassle. So instead of going to that hassle, so what I am doing is that I already have a management interface which is running, and I can use that one because it's not so heavy virtual machine. So I can just go to the same network kernel adapter, click on edit, and I will just simply enable the vMotion, click on OK. That's it. And I will go to the host 4 also. I will go to the simply edit that one, select the vMotion and click OK. Now this should be enabled on all the ESXi hosts no matter what, because if you want to enable TSR or if you want to do something, move or migrate, we have to enable those options. So I will enable it on the all of them. So I will select vMotion and that's it. So once that is been selected, now if I go to MikroTik 1 and I will say right click, and if I go to the migrate, and it will ask, now I can select both compute and resource and storage. So I can go to data center to select the particular host, click on next, and this is where now it is asking me the storage. So this is the storage, this is where I want to transfer the files, and it should be the thin provision. Click on next. And now network adapter, as I said, that you have to keep in mind of the networking. Currently, I don't have any requirement. I don't need to worry about it. So I will just click on next. And I want to schedule, or I want to do it right now. So this one I'm going with the high priority because again, it says that it uses a high amount of CPU. So you have to make your decision according to your requirements. So currently I don't have any requirements, so that's why I'm selecting the first one, which is high priority, and click on finish. And now it should start the migration now. Now you see that it has already transferred to the MikroTik 1 is being transferred to the 1. Because the virtual machine was very small, it doesn't require any higher bandwidth. There is like data is not in a GB or some larger file. So that's why it was easy to move it. Now again, I can do the same thing. I can just click on migrate, do the same thing and send it back to the DC1, cluster 1, 201, click on next. If I go back, so it says that OS heartbeats are being received. Either guest OS is not responding, or don't worry about that one, that's fine. Now let's select the storage, go back to thin provisioning, next. And don't worry about the networking also for now. Next and finish. And now that should be transferred back to the ESXi1. That's it. So migration is only possible if you enable the vMotion on the management network. If you are if you are having a high bandwidth requirement, then you go ahead and connect or configure the network adapter, VM kernel adapter, specifically that is going to be used for the vMotion. But for the lab, I think this should be more than enough. I hope this was informative for you, and thank you.